Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and completely reframe how we look at the two most popular AI assistants on the market today. You know, we're constantly seeing these tools pitted against each other, but to truly get the most out of them, we need a massive mindset shift. Because here's the thing, the cost of using the wrong tool isn't just getting a bad answer. It's wasted time and, honestly, endless frustration.
So, which AI is better overall? This is, without a doubt, the single most common question people ask when comparing these tools. We tend to treat them like competing contestants in a boxing ring, right? We just assume one of them has to be the universal heavyweight champion of all tasks. But think about it. What if we're judging a fish by its ability to climb a tree?
Asking which one is superior is completely missing the point of how these systems are actually designed. That is the wrong question. The confusion literally disappears the moment you stop treating them like these perfect, magical boxes and start asking what kind of problem each tool is naturally built to solve. They aren't all-knowing oracles. They're actually highly specialized tools. Think of them as cognitive wrenches and magnifying glasses.
To build a really wholesome understanding today, we're going to quickly cover 5 key areas. 1. Beyond the magic box. 2. Truths of language models. 3. Different design priorities. 4. The hidden trade-off. And finally, 5. Choosing the right fit. All right, Section 1, Beyond the Magic Box. Let's tackle the illusion that just because you type and they answer, they're exactly the same underneath. Assuming they do the exact same job is kind of like assuming all seafood at a coastal restaurant is identical. Sure, the surface interface is super similar. You type text in, you get text out. But the preparation method, the texture of the response, and their absolute best use cases are entirely different. They literally shape how you think and how reliable your actual work feels. Which brings us to Section 2, Truths of Language Models. To understand what these assistants are naturally good at, we first have to strip away all that marketing hype and look under the hood.
At their core, neither of these tools is a mind with beliefs. They don't know things the way you and I do. They are incredibly advanced pattern completion engines. It's like a master jazz musician who has internalized millions of songs just to improvise effortlessly in any style. They generate likely language, not absolute certainty. Under the hood, they're really just calculating the mathematical probability of the very next word, one word at a time.
And because of this mechanical reality, they work based on a few irreducible truths. Your prompt is the steering wheel. The context window, which is just the AI's short-term memory of your current conversation, well, that provides the fuel. And this is absolutely crucial. Their smooth, confident fluency does not guarantee truth. True reliability comes from understanding these exact limits, rather than expecting some magical answer.
Let's look at prompting for a second. Think of it like ordering at a restaurant. A really vague prompt like, "Give me something to eat," forces the chef to just guess what you want, so they rely heavily on default averages. But a highly specific request shapes a completely different tailored outcome. You're not just picking a tool, you are actively steering its prediction path.
Similarly, context is everything. Just like a master tailor needs a full set of precise measurements, not just a tiny scrap of fabric to make a great suit, an AI needs rich, ongoing context to be a thoughtful collaborator. This is exactly why the very same language model can feel deeply insightful one minute and just totally confused the next.
Let's move to Section 3, Different Design Priorities. What's fascinating here is how these systems, built on the exact same underlying predictive technology, begin to completely diverge in practice. Just like two restaurants optimized for entirely different dining experiences, these AI tools are deliberately tuned for different user habits and environments. The core language model is just a fraction of the product. The system design wrapped around that model dictates how it actually behaves, how it reasons, and how it responds when you sit down to use it.
So here is how that actually looks in practice. One system might be designed to be a patient, conversational partner. It tracks your intent, it checks your assumptions, and it helps you build understanding step by step. The other acts much more like an ecosystem tool. It's tightly integrated with a broader web of services, pulling in external data and focusing heavily on information density over chatty fluidity.
This design choice directly translates into their unique strengths. Say you're building a complex presentation over an hour. Well, strong context handling keeps that working thread alive so you don't find yourself repeating instructions. But if you're pulling in today's fresh facts, like a livestock price or breaking news, you need a model grounded in the outside world, optimized for real-time retrieval rather than just deep memory.
The big takeaway here is that a highly conversational model absolutely thrives in the messy sandbox of brainstorming. It acts like a brilliant, unrestricted sketchpad. But an ecosystem-aware model really excels when you need rigid structure, like, say, extracting specific facts from a massive document or summarizing meeting notes without hallucinating details.
This brings us to Section 4, the hidden trade-off. I really believe this is the core conflict at the very heart of all AI system design.
You are always trading off between extreme helpfulness and tighter control. High fluidity makes the tool an amazing, dynamic thinking partner that dances with your ideas, but that same fluency can easily mask uncertainty, meaning you absolutely have to fact-check it. Tighter grounding to search or external files gives you a firm anchor of control and verifiability, but the interaction might feel a bit stiffer. Neither approach is free.
Let's ground this with a practical example. Imagine running a small business. If your task is drafting friendly, conversational customer messages, a highly fluid AI is perfect. It nails that human tone. But for task 2, aggregating and structuring raw, detailed feedback across 10 different retail locations, an ecosystem-aware tool shines because it maintains strict structure and data integrity. Task 1 needs helpful fluidity. Task 2 demands rigid control.
And that perfectly leads us to Section 5, choosing the right fit. We really need to move away from an obsession with feature lists to a best fit mentality.
Think of this comparison as your ultimate cheat sheet. It's all about matching the nature of your bottleneck to the fundamental behavior of the tool. Doing complex document work, you need consistency and strong context handling. Need current, verified info? You want a tool hooked into an ecosystem of external data. Brainstorming? You want a responsive, expansive conversationalist. You don't just pick the quote-unquote smartest AI, you match the exact nature of your problem to the design priority of the tool.
By intentionally shifting your mindset like this, you stop expecting magical perfection, and you actually start gaining true, predictable control over your workflow. You learn to strategically pick the tool for the task. You spot immediately when a smooth answer needs verifying, and you actively steer the engine with precise context. You finally rise above the marketing hype.
So, the next time you open a blank prompt window, remember that you aren't picking a universal winner. You're picking a partner for the job at hand. Let me leave you with this. For the very next task you do today, do you need a conversation-shaped thinking space or an ecosystem-connected assistant?